This is huge for the Toronto Raptors because the two newest acquisitions for this team, Kelly Olynyk as well as Ochai Agbaji, have spoken out on joining the Toronto Raptors, and their comments, how much they're embracing the team and how they're embracing the future of this organization, makes this trade look more and more like a win for the Toronto Raptors the more I hear. So we're going to break down what they had to say, their comments on joining the Toronto Raptors, and how it sort of shifts our perspective on this trade going forward. But before we dive into that, folks, again, over 56% of our viewers are not subscribed to the channel, and we want to keep you up to date with all of the latest Toronto Raptors news. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything regarding this Toronto Raptors team. But obviously, we just went through one of the craziest trade deadlines in Toronto Raptors history, at least, trade seasons, if you count the OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam stuff. There's no doubt about it. Masai Ujiri,
someone cooked here.
He cooked here. He cooked this season, completely shifting the roster. Some guys, some fans were looking to still get dealt, but the new look Toronto Raptors team definitely has me excited watching Toronto Raptors basketball again. Now, if they start losing games, getting blown out, the game against the Cavs tonight should be fairly exciting to see how this group does against one of the hottest teams in the entire NBA, and we'll also get to see our two new acquisitions that could have a serious impact on the squad. And they think so as well. So we'll break down what their comments are saying regarding joining the Raptors team. Basically, Agbaji, he first spoke and said, "I feel like there's another part of my game that I can show. I feel like Darko knows that as well, and Masai Ujiri understands that. Really, it's all about opportunity, and I feel like I have a good opportunity here. I'm ready for this, and I feel like there's a new, fresh start that's happening." Now, when the Detroit Pistons traded away their wing to the Utah Jazz traded away their wing, Simone, to the Detroit Pistons, there was a lot of Jazz fans. I scoured through their Reddit, I looked at some of their takes, trying to get a feel about Agbaji and what impact he could have, and basically what the fans were saying, yes, he took a little bit of a step back during his second season in his NBA career, but, with the trades, with the moves that sort of happened leading up to the deadline, Utah Jazz fans are pretty pumped to see this sort of breakout opportunity, the opportunity for Ochai to come out and properly take his game to the next level with an extended role, with more opportunity. The offense obviously is a two-way guy, has shown a ton of potential, and Ochai knows that there is a part of his game that can get unlocked. And now with the Toronto Raptors, obviously the team is loaded at his position. Right now, Gary Trent Jr., RJ Barrett, Bruce Brown, all shooting. Grady Dick, another shooting guard. And then just in terms of the guard rotation, Scotty's going to be playing some PG. Emmanuel Quickly's there. There's a lot of guys that do play that position. However, the Raptors are Jordan Nwora. The list goes on and on and on. But the Toronto Raptors are prioritizing that development. And this acquisition of Agbaji is a guy that clearly could have some potential on this team and is going to get some minutes on this Raptors squad. Significant amount of run, whether it's off the bench or if there's injuries that happen. He might even be a starter some given nights. So I'm pumped to see what the Toronto Raptors could do to unlock his game because, again, he's a shooter that's a remarkable athlete. That man is yoked. One of the more chiseled guys in the entire NBA. He's still a very young dude. I mean, you take an athlete like that has shown some promise shooting the basketball, and you really give him opportunities to make mistakes, to go out there on the court and have confidence that the coaching staff believes in him, the team believes in him, and all these types of things. I mean, that is a recipe for success. So I'm hyped to see, him potentially take a leap forward now with this Raptors group. He also came out and discussed Scotty Barnes, saying, "I love his energy, his development, and his jump this year has been awesome. Now being on the same team with him, I want to make him better, and I feel like he can make me better too." So he's talking about his development, how the Raptors are developing guys. They did with Scotty Barnes, and the potential fit between those two dudes. I mean, I love that approach. I love that sort of embracing the Raptors top star, and Scotty is that star now. He's that guy that is an all-star for the Toronto Raptors, the number one option. Sure, fans are already turning on him because he's not having the greatest of immediate impacts. His efficiency's going down. He looks a little bit different with the focus of the defense on him night in, night out. But, I mean, I like to see Ochai pumped to be playing with Scotty Barnes here now at this point. So that's another thing that's great to see. And then Kelly Olynyk, the guy that is probably the most notable name in this trade, even though I think the trade package was centered around Agbaji. Kelly Olynyk is going to have a future with this group, and his comments sort of indicate that. Basically, News Raptor Kelly Olynyk basically said it's a full circle moment for him. It's really cool to look back and how monumental the Raptors have been in his life. to be putting on this jersey, these shirts and hats and stuff, it's something that you can't put into words. And obviously, Kelly Olynyk's a Canadian, been a Raptors fan growing up. There's pictures, I should have screenshot of him in Raptors covers sort of growing up as a kid. So, to play for your favorite team, your childhood favorite team, the squad you're rooting for, the same way where you root for them, 24/7, then be able to don that jersey is a big moment for Kelly Olynyk. And he went on to say about how his mom was a scorekeeper here, that his dad was an associate coach for the Raptors for a year. Just being in the driveway, pretending you're a Raptor growing up. You used to fall asleep at night with the alarm radio, listening to Fan 90 of Chuck Swirsky. So a proper diehard there. Break out the salami and cheese. Basically, Olynyk said he heard his name tied to a bunch of different teams, but the Raptors didn't come into play until just before the deadline. Really wasn't until Jake Fisher really discussed how, the Raptors could potentially trade Bruce Brown and then Kelly Olynyk as well as Ochai going that way. So he called that big time. But there wasn't a lot of talk about Kelly Olynyk potentially joining the Toronto Raptors. So interesting how quickly sort of things developed along those lines. But basically, I didn't know how serious it was until it heated up and I was super excited. They've been on each other's radar for a while. So that's a pretty cool thing to see, right? Kelly Olynyk wanting to be on the Toronto Raptors, the Raptors targeting him again. We've heard some speculation, some rumors in the past about Kelly Olynyk, but nothing too crazy. Hasn't been, in the rumor mill like a Miles Turner or a Paul Millsap, deep in years past. But definitely a long-time guy that Raptors fans have wanted, given his roots to Canada, and, a guy that embraces Team Canada basketball and is one of the most underrated guys in the entire NBA. So that's huge to see. And this is the big quote. I would love to be here the rest of my career if that plays out. And Kelly Olynyk, I get people that are frustrated with this trade because Kelly Olynyk's older. Why would you do this? Yada, yada, yada. Kelly Olynyk is a guy that, sure, he's going to be 33 years old when his contract is up next season. 8 points per game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 56% from the field, 43% from behind the three-point arc, 84% behind the free throw line. I mean, Kelly Olynyk is a stretch big man that is mobile, that, again, no one's going to accuse him of being the most elite rim protector in the entire NBA, but he's fleet of foot. He's a guy that facilitates in the offensive end. To be a backup big on this Raptors group, a guy that wants to be on the Toronto Raptors through a season, maybe a season and a half of a potential rebuild, a retooling, whatever we want to call this. A vet that'll be in the locker room, won't be disgruntled, won't be mad. That could actually be extremely valuable to this Raptors group. I mean, just a couple seasons ago, he was averaging 19 points per game for the Houston Rockets before trades ended up happening. He bounced around different places. I mean, Kelly Olynyk can have a serious impact on this Raptors team. And, especially where nights where he's going to play every single game. He's not going to be one of those like deep bench, utility players like Thaddeus Young or anything like that. But when guys like Jakob Poeltl go down with injury, we saw how bad the Raptors looked without a center. Kelly Olynyk can easily slide in and be a starting caliber center for the Toronto Raptors. So that's huge for this team. And again, I'm excited to see this squad as well, right? Kelly Olynyk, it's going to add a whole nother dimension to this group, and the fact that he wants to be here long-term, wants to play out the rest of his career with the Toronto Raptors, that is a great thing to see. So that's awesome, and then obviously, Ochai, being a guy that's only 23 years old, 24, by the end of the season, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. The stats aren't really going to be indicative because he's going to get more and more of an opportunity with the Toronto Raptors this season. But let me know what you guys think about all this Toronto Raptors news. You guys are the best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, you guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.